Are dog corrections as effective as people say, or are they actually causing more harm than good? In this video, I'm tackling the controversial topic of dog corrections and showing you how to properly say no to your dog without relying on harsh methods. Stick around to discover everything you need to know about communicating properly with your dog and whether there's a better way to set boundaries. Do dog corrections actually work? The short answer is absolutely. However, before you hate me in the comments or click off or go and buy a second pair of your favorite chalk chain, hear me out. It takes 10 times more knowledge to apply a successful correction than it takes you to say yes or to ignore things. I argue that 99.9% of people should not be using corrections, and this is why. Before you think of applying corrections, you should be very good at judging whether or not the situation requires a correction. That right off the bat will puzzle a lot of people because we don't know our dogs good enough. We don't know body language. We don't process the environment. We only fixate on a small part of the interaction. And let's say that you are actually pretty good at that. Do you have the strength and knowledge of your dog to hit the pain threshold at the right level, at the right intensity, no more, no less, for the situation at hand? And lastly, is your timing impeccable? Because if one of those three elements are off, you are creating so much collateral damage. If you overdo a correction, if you are doing more than it needs to be, you're breaking every bit of trust that your dog has for you. And if you are underdoing it, you're making you're making your dog create resistance to pain, which means that the corrections that work today won't work tomorrow. So I will, if if you don't have the knowledge or you really don't want to commit to corrections, avoid it as much as you can. So let me show you what I do when I am dealing with unwanted situations. Ideally, I want to refrain from saying no. Saying no creates conflict because we have an association with the word no that is not pleasant. So automatically our mood changes when we say no. And emotion ruins training faster than anything. So here's my first tip: be patient and know what your dog wants at that moment. We usually try to say no because our dog is acting poorly to say something. But what if, by you knowing what your dog wants, you can bypass all that nonsense? Let's say your dog really wants your attention. That's what your dog really wants. It doesn't have to be anything special, just he's craving connection with you. And because he's not getting it, he goes and steals your favorite shoes or your glasses or the remote control, whatever. The moment that you pay attention to that and you say no, drop it, and all the stuff that we tend to do, we are giving him the attention that he wanted. And they don't care if it's good or bad, it's attention at the end of the day. And because they can outrun you all day, you're gonna turn that into a game of chase that he's gonna love every single time. Alternatively, if we were to just ignore the situation, be like, oh, it would be more beneficial for me to let it fly. I'll buy another pair of shoes if I have to. It's a worthwhile investment because you know that what he wanted was attention. And if you manage to ignore it and wait him out till he drops your thing to give him the attention and in the way that you want to give attention, you are setting the precedent to your dog that he only gets attention by behaving a certain way. So you are already winning. You are getting what you want. And the likelihood of him going back after your shoes or whatever is it that he's picking up is very slim in the future, because that was just a tool to get what he wanted. So know rewards, know what he wants, and be patient to wait for your dog to switch behaviors without you saying a word. That's, for me, the best way to approach unwanted behaviors. Whenever possible, that's great. Now, if you want to stop your dog from going, let's say you're walking on leash and you don't want your dog to go up and bolt to get to say hi to another dog, using body language, it's the perfect tool for this. You can manipulate how your dog behaves and where your dog goes or doesn't go with your body, with how you present yourself, how you are able to control how you move will influence how he moves or doesn't move very quickly. So master body language. That's, for me, the best way to communicate with a dog. I will say in this video, and I will say probably in 1,000 more videos, if we master body language, there is no conflict to be had with our dogs. And once you know it, you can actually say no, and your dog will create the connection. But with that said, the last piece of advice that I have for you is never pick a conflict or say no if you're not certain that you can make that no happen. If you say no and you can make your dog to stop doing what he's doing, you're making your training that much harder. So pick your battles. Make sure that you can win when you say no, and you want to make sure that that remains that way, because the association of a no has to be absolute. If you say don't do that, the moment that you say no, you have to make sure that you get that done as fast as possible without conflict, and that's not always easy. So if you see that you're at a disadvantage, let's say if you want your dog to come to you or to go to a squad and you say no, don't go there, you have no leverage. The dog is off leash. You cannot chase him. That's the truth. So pick your battles, and if you master the knowledge of rewards, patience, and body language, you will be able to coach your dog to a better life, and your relationship will be amazing. I promise you. See you next time.